So the aim of this video is to get you in better touch with these pelvic floor muscles and to give you a sense of whether yours are on the more tight side, on the too loose side, if you are able to fully engage them, if you are able to only engage part, maybe just the front triangle but not the back, or if they are so loose and relaxed that in fact you can't even get them to respond. So I want to start by actually giving you a chance to explore and experience, okay, how are these muscles doing? What do they feel like? No, this is not about to get to be an extremely graphic video. All this is going to, any more graphic than this model made it. What I want you to do is sitting upright. Now, if you can't sit on the floor and sit on the front of your sit bones, go get a chair, sit on that. Does not matter what position your body is in, so long as the pelvis is upright for this. Take a hand. Reach your hand underneath, and what you're doing is you're reaching and feeling for your sitting bone. So where is that knobby little spot under our bum? And then once you've found that, gently, this is a personal area, slide your fingers to the inside of that sitting bone. And in your own time, at whatever pressure feels appropriate for you, give a little bit of a massage. Give a little rub. Hello, how are you doing? And I want you to notice in particular, is this area tender? Is it stiff? Does it vaguely resemble the feeling you might have in your shoulder muscles with the amount of tone? Or is it more squishy? Does it feel more like the underside of your arm, which would be a very different amount of muscle engagement? If you are newly postpartum, if you have stitches, please be very, very gentle. We do not want to pull stitches apart as we're massaging. Give yourself about 60 seconds to massage into that inner sitting bone. And then once you've gotten there, let that hip come back down. And first of all, notice, does it feel like one side is just a little bit lower than the other? I often feel like one side of my pelvis has sunk at that point. My pelvic floor, full disclosure, tends to be on the tighter side. So mine will tend to lift up more. You may feel different. It's not right or wrong, but let's balance it out. So taking your other hand, reaching underneath, grabbing for your sitting bone. And then give a little, hello, how you doing? You're underneath, you're on the muscle tissue around the vagina. You can come up towards the front of the pubic bone. Don't go all the way to the front. That's where the urethral sphincters are. We don't need to tug on those. You might bring your hands towards the back, massage towards the tailbone. Now notice, is this side the same as the other? Is it more tender? Is it less tender? Is it more squishy? Less squishy? It's actually quite common that we will have a combination. One muscle side will be very, very stiff. One will be under-recruited. That can also be reflected if you think about some of the exercises that we might do lying on our stomach. If we were working our back core or working our glutes, you may notice that some of the glute muscles respond better than some of the others do, and that can have an impact on the pelvic floor as well. So just kind of giving yourself a little hello. And then once you've massaged that side, okay, let that sitting bone come back down. Hopefully the pelvis feels a bit more stable, a bit more anchored. There's your first pelvic floor exercise right there. Little external hello massage a couple times a week just to acknowledge, okay, hi. This muscle is stiff. This muscle is released. This muscle is floppy and saggy. So that's the first one. But now, having woken them up, once again, tip the pelvis forward, and we're going to come into some breathing exercises to help to get a little bit of movement and balance into that pelvic trampoline, that diaphragm down at the base. We're going to do that by using our abdominal diaphragm. So as you inhale, let the belly come down, and do you feel the pelvic floor muscles release and spread, like the lily pad spreading out. Then as you exhale, the abdominal diaphragm domes back up. That creates a sort of vacuum that naturally pulls the pelvic floor back up on its own. And then inhale, let it release. and spread open. And exhale, it domes back up. And so this is one of the first things we can do in terms of getting in touch with these muscles, is we can inhale, release, make sure the pelvis is upright. Exhale, drawing up. If you want to know why, try tucking your tail and doing the same action. And you won't get nearly as much response as you will if you bring the pelvic floor level with the ground, which is perpendicular to gravity, so that as you come upright, your pelvic floor quite literally goes, oh, I got you. Something's there. I'm going to hold you up. I'm not dropping anything out. Thank you very much. Inhale. Oh, I've got that. Exhale. And you lift. So that's the whole floor. Now, what if we wanted to get more specific? Well, we can do that. If you're sitting upright and you bring your focus to the front section of the pelvis. So we're talking about this front triangle. And so we inhale and the pelvic floor releases. And then as you exhale, could you draw up the muscles in the front of your pelvis right behind the pubic bone? And so you draw up, 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 and lift and squeeze. And this is probably closest to the action that we might call stopping a stream of urine when you're peeing, which is not really a good way to describe full pelvic floor toning, but it gets used very commonly. So we inhale, let things release, exhale, drawing pelvic floor front triangle, up and in. We're trying not to squeeze the glutes. This is not about your bum. This is really about the space between sitting bones and pubic bone. So one more time. Exhale, we dome up. Yes, you lift on the exhale. Inhale, release down. That's the front. What if you wanted to get the back? Well, shift your focus towards the back of your pelvis, or to around your tailbone. And again, we inhale and you let it go. And then as you exhale, can you lift towards the back? And the front will probably come up too, because these are all kind of interwoven. But can you lift and squeeze? I often say, like you're trying to avoid passing gas in a yoga class. We all know what that feels like. And then inhale, let it go. Release. Exhale, squeeze from the back. Inhale, dropping. The nice thing about this particular exercise is you could do it anywhere. No one can tell you're doing it. Nobody will know. Unless they come and check, but nobody's going to come and check. Now that's the back triangle. Inhale, releasing, exhale. Gathering back up. If you wanted to get the full network, and remember that to be strong, we have to let go. So if you did that massage and this was super tight, almost zingy, electric, uncomfortable, you don't need to lift. You need to inhale, release, and let it stay released, because it naturally wants to bounce all the way up anyway. If it felt really squishy, however, then you might inhale, release, open, exhale, starting at the back, squeeze around the tailbone, then let that movement come forward, squeeze towards the front as well. How much can you lift? And then inhale, letting things release. The other way to think of it, exhale as you're lifting, this is the jellyfish. That all the sides collect together and they swim up on the exhale. On the inhale, they spread, they open, and they widen. Exhale. And they dome up. As you're doing this, notice if there is some response in the lower abdominal wall. The nerves that engage and innervate the pelvic floor have branches that also innervate into the sacrum and the lower abdomen. So this is one of the other reasons that in many videos you will find we'll engage pelvic floor before we engage deep core. Let's one more time. Inhale, let it go. And then exhale, bring it just to a neutral position. And see, do you feel more aware of the kind of action and movement that is there at the base of your core?